Welcome to Bingham Group's Big Three, top headlines for Austinites and those interested in our city. Here's our Big Three stories for today. Phase 1 of Austin's reinstated homeless camping ban begins. Area colleges and students to split $250 million in federal COVID-19 pandemic relief. And alcohol to go from restaurants legal after Governor Greg Abbott signs bill. This is the Big Three. Our first story here today, Friday marks day 4 of Austin's homeless camping ban, and we're hearing from city officials about how exactly enforcement will work in the weeks and months ahead. However, not everyone agrees with the gradual approach the city's taking. As of Tuesday, it's now illegal to camp just about anywhere in Austin after voters passed Proposition B earlier this month. But city officials now admit it will be some time before people are able to be moved either to designated encampments or into housing. That's part of the reason why the city is taking a phased approach. For the next 2 months during phases 1 and 2, the city will be giving out warnings and eventually citations, as well as beginning the cleanup process. However, police will not begin making any arrests or clearing out campsites until Phase 3, which begins in July. Starting then, people living in camps, they'll be giving a 3-day notice to vacate. The Austin interim police chief said, "We're really looking at citations and arrests at a last resort. We want to do the education and outreach first to educate our full community, and particularly our community of folks that are experiencing homelessness, about what we're trying to accomplish and what the voters have decided to do in a safe and humane manner." Critics of the 4-phase plan say the rollout is simply too slow. Save Austin Now, which spearheaded the Prop B campaign, is questioning why enforcement will take so long. The founder of Save Austin Now said in a quote, 60 days is ridiculous for full enforcement. The idea that this takes some massive new regime with lots of time to prepare for it, I think, is a slap in the face of everyone who voted for this. City officials say their focus right now is on community engagement, and they want to give people living in camps the chance to relocate voluntarily. But leaders of the Downtown Austin Alliance say the city needs to figure out where those people will go. The city is still in the process of identifying designated locations where camping will be allowed. City Manager Spencer Cronk says his staff is looking at public parks, among other options. We expect to have a better idea of specific sites by the end of this week. In the meantime, park rangers will be reaching out to people in camps to connect them with services, and city leaders are calling on nonprofits to help as well. As we head into the summer, officials say they'll be assessing whether additional resources and strategies are needed. Well, the Central Texas higher education institutions and students are set to receive more than $250 million from the latest federal pandemic relief package. The money is part of $36 billion from the American Rescue Plan signed by President Joe Biden in March, allotted to help colleges and universities respond to the coronavirus pandemic. Of the money provided to institutions, roughly half must go directly to student relief. The Department of Education announced on Tuesday that assistance will now be available to all students, a change from the Trump administration rule that left undocumented and international students out of pandemic relief. Congressman Lloyd Doggett said in a statement, "Wrongful Trump restrictions have been removed so that Dreamers can now qualify just like other students. Good news for our Dreamers who have faced so much uncertainty, and for all students and higher education leaders who've encountered so many pandemic challenges. Institutions can use the money to create emergency grants for students with, quote, exceptional needs, increase student retention and engagement, and prevent the spread of COVID-19, according to the Education Department. Education Secretary Miguel Cardona said in a statement, "These funds are critical to ensuring that all of our nation's students, particularly those disproportionately impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, have the opportunity to enroll, continue their education, graduate, and pursue their careers." Congressman Doggett said Central Texas institutions will receive the following amounts, which you'll see on your screen here. Includes University of Texas at Austin, Houston-Tillotson University, Texas State University, Austin Community College, and St. Edward's University. The one-time federal funds come as the Texas legislature crafts its budget for the next 2 years and debates how much to put toward higher education. The presidents of the Texas Faculty Association and Texas State Teachers Association said in a joint statement, We need more funding. Our school districts and higher education institutions need the additional resources to recoup pandemic-related expenses, address learning losses, and operate safely as we work to emerge from this health emergency. Well, our last story here today, alcohol to go is now in law in Texas after Governor Greg Abbott on Wednesday signed a bill to permanently allow Texans to include alcohol in takeout orders from restaurants, achieving a shared goal of Abbott and restaurateurs. House Bill 1024 allows beer, wine, and mixed drinks to be included in pickup and delivery food orders, securing a revenue stream made available to restaurants during the pandemic when their dining areas were forced to close. Because the measure was approved by more than 2/3 of the House and Senate, it went into effect as soon as Abbott signed it. Governor Abbott said, "Today is a great day for Texas restaurants as well as for customers." He said this while he signed the bill. The bill was filed by Republican State Representative Charlie Green, who's a restaurant owner in Fort Worth. Abbott signed a waiver in March last year to allow to-go alcohol sales. The waiver was originally to last until May 2020, but it was extended indefinitely. As lawmakers begin their work during the legislative session, expanding Texans' access to booze picked up partisan support. Texas has historically had restrictive alcohol laws. Since the repeal of Prohibition, the state has banned selling alcohol on Sundays in liquor stores, and distilleries have limits on the amount of bottles a person can buy, among other limitations. The permanent alcohol to-go option could benefit the restaurant industry after it was devastated during the pandemic. According to the Texas Restaurant Association, 700,000 restaurant employees in Texas lost their jobs in the early days of the pandemic, and thousands of Texans and restaurants have closed. Well, thanks so much for listening to The Big Three from the Bingham Group. We'd appreciate your comments, likes, and reshares. Make sure you follow this account here for regular updates. Have a great week, and we will see you on Monday for our next Big Three segment.